consistency at the top of NAEs as to be expected. We have those old Vanguards been playing and placing and everything, as it looks like Bugha, Bizzle, and Clix's loadout is fantastic. I can't imagine Gabe, Tahi, or Sprite left Sweaty Sands. So I don't know, something has gone differently here. Maybe the guys can break it down between the games with some replays, but I need to know what happened here, because this was not the fight that we saw break down all 6 games last week. Yeah. Now in 4th. They're only 4 points behind the team in 3rd. This is what I want to see from these teams playing their tournaments out, because fights like this are never going to go well. We've seen 2 teams that realized, hey, contesting each other is not going to work. This isn't a good idea, and they're both finding fantastic success from it. As we switch over things, though, it looks like Bizzle, Bugha, and Clix potentially finding far better success here at Sweaty Sands in game number 3. They've taken down the first elimination. I believe it's now a 3v2, as Clix, though, unfortunately, is in a 1v2 with the remaining 2 players, and Clix goes down, so it's a trade. Bizzle and Bugha jump on the 2v1. They win their trade, and then, unfortunately, Gabe, Tahi, and Sprite, looks like Tahi takes down Clix, and now we're back to a good old 2v2, and, again, things aren't looking great for either team now.
Yeah, it's not. And we talk about Marzo W and the Stealthy Stronghold drop spot. He goes down in the feed too, so that's another team just getting wiped out early off of these contested drops. But it's all about how you do it. I like that we see Bizzle at least try to employ a different strategy here with Bugha, like land on top of the opponent, get right there, find that quick pick, but literally it gets countered by Sprite and Tahi. Equally as nimble, equally as quick on their toes here, and they just give the same medicine to Clix. They land right on top of him at main, and there's just nothing you can do about it. Now, again, it's going to come down to the full-on engagement, and I have to assume this time around, it's going to end out. They're not going to walk away. They're not going to try to makeshift put the team together. No. One team is definitely getting crossed out of the equation here.
Yeah, one team is definitely... Oh, I mean, at the same time, though, they have disengaged in the past, but with one teammate down on either side, the reboot potential, I think that will make them play a bit more aggressive, as it looks like the decision's not on them, our Holy Hedges team, or maybe even around the Blaze spawn kind of campfire area. Holy Hedges, a whole nother trio rotating in, and we have a whole nother team on the other end of Sweaty coming in from Fort Crumpet. So this is what happens when you've got the biggest names in the business. Bugha, Bizzle, and Clix, they get attention, and when they're in a spawn fight, the entire lobby is going to know about it, and they're going to look to be, you know, advantageous with it. They're going to try and swing in. They would have seen the feed. They know that both these teams are down a man. You have a numbers advantage. This is easy surge, potential easy points, and then if you can clean wipe it, you get the rest of the loot at Sweaty as well. Again, looking awful for both the teams that drop here, and fantastic for the other teams that aren't contested, as it looks like Gabe, Tahi, Sprite go down first. Bugha, Bizzle have a shot here to try to pull off an upset in a 2v3, but no, Bizzle falls. Bugha does have 3 eliminations though, so I don't know if you're a Clix, Bugha, Bizzle fan, maybe you call this as a win for them at Sweaty Sands, but I don't think it's going to make it too much further outside of the Sands.
Yeah, not at all. And remember, they've already slipped down. They've fallen 2 slots since we last tuned in with them, from their game 1 to game 2 performance. And that's the difference in being contested. Listen, game 1, no one approached this drop spot. No one dared come here to come fight them. But game 2, the engagements, the trades, now leading into game 3 here. When you see the feed light up, there is just so much more reason for teams to come in. That's almost like a validating point at this point, right? We get to literally see the difference between game 1, 2, and 3 and how teams rotate in. Same for this story here at Pleasant Park. It's literally similar. These other teams that come on in, they know exactly what's going to unfold. They're paying close attention. They watch it like a hawk. They want to see what's going to happen so they can capitalize if an opportunity presents itself.
Oh, and this is our 4th place team right now in an early fight. We're used to seeing these early fights with the teams that are struggling, but seeing them with teams with points on the board, and it looks like Lupian, Beef, and Nick are going to maybe scare this team off back into Steamy, and maybe we're getting a bit of a look at how this team's actually playing it. Maybe they're doing some kind of a split around this area. Could actually be Nick's team that's doing that Orchard North triple house split potentially, and then rotating into Steamy, but they don't have the best loot of this, but they are in a 3v2. They have the numbers advantage, but Stacky's going to hit the stacks, and so Zum, and they're long gone. There's not much you can do once they hit the stacks unless you want to fly onto them and risk getting beamed before you get out of the sky, but that's a good start. You know, our French-Canadian contingent still holding on as Bugha somehow pulls this off because of the other team that rotated to Sweaty is now fighting. That is Coop, Adams, and Cod Genesis that are dropping the Fort Crumpet Castle split. They get Bizzle back up. I don't think they get Clix because they never got his card, but they're back in it with a shot, I guess. It's not a good one, but they're still going.
Yeah, no, I mean, they realistically do have a chance here now. Bizzle's going to rotate by the enemies, though. Little does he know there was Again, that team lurking there inside the box, waiting for the other opponents here. Split strafes. Now pushing in with Smite onto Xset. Shark there. Shark gets hit once, but not enough to get taken out. Crashes into the wall. He's just trying to get out of Line's fire, and he does escape just there. Now into the taxi he goes. Give this man a ride. He needs a boost. He needs a lift. Get him out of here.
They don't unfortunately have the big tires though, which is going to make them not get too far once you go off-road. Clarity and Shark going to hit the rotate back around the corner here. Kaz is still chasing, and man, we're getting everything here today, Monster. We're getting spawn fights between like 4, 3, 5 teams at certain POIs, but then we're still getting active Storm Surge, as it's just these 2 or 3 POIs that are so heavily contested, have everyone around them, but the rest of the map is
ready to go. We're taking our seats, and guess what? We're riding shotgun alongside Aussie Antics and Monster D-Face. Boys, it's game number 5. Let's see how this all goes.
The question now is just, because of the top elite trios moving on week after week, does it give more room for these literally rocket ship type players like Day, Mirror, and Reverse to take away? Like, does it become too simple for them in the end game? Is the competition not up to par? Because what Miro is doing, what they are doing in that end game, it's just too much. It looks very dominant, and finally now we're seeing that their playstyle is breaking away from the rest.
I think so, but at the same time, to be fair, I think they're just playing that well. We have some teams, I don't want to say they're struggling because they're in 5th place, but we got teams like Saf, Stretch, and Avery that after a game 1 victory, our big points on the board have kind of struggled in the end game. So I don't think it's that easy with these new names, as we see that Expert Dom has spent more time alive solo than any other player. So these guys really are showing up, and it looks like Dom's putting the team on his back with a bit of a solo clutch. And at the top, only 3 points separating first from second, but we've been talking about it time and time again today. It's that top 3, which right now, Nobu Beef, Lupian, and Nick FN need to hold on. They're in 3rd on 106 points. After that, it gets really close. If this was the final game, I'd be a bit more confident for them, but with 2 games to go, they can lose it, as it looks like Clix and Bizzle are going to disengage. I saw Bugha go down in the feed earlier, so unfortunately, Clix's team having to run away from this one. They got good loot on Bizzle for the most part, but I guess they've potentially lost this one. I don't know what the count at Sweaty Sands is so far yet. I'm mostly looking at the overall leaderboard, and unfortunately on that leaderboard, both the teams seem to be struggling.
Yeah, and let's not forget, they hard learned their lesson. If one of them falls, the other teams swarm. Like, they come in, like,
yep.
You know what I mean? As if they were just hungry animals in the desert. They catch a whiff of the meat. They're coming in. They want to pick it up, and that's just how it plays out, so they have to leave. They truly don't have another choice. The rotate to the Spire, I think, is a smart one. It gives them a lot of options here for mobility to cut back and do some other plays. So this should be, something that works out, that allows them to kind of get situated, but it's all been hit up. It's all been looted. You can just tell it's like a scavenger route for